My brothers and sisters in Christ, in today's gospel we hear the pity of Jesus, his heart moved with pity as he looks out on his people and sees them like sheep without a shepherd. And when we hold this in the light of the first reading from the prophet Hosea, we hear how God speaks of, amongst the many ways that Israel has sinned against him in the covenant, it's not just through wicked deeds, but it's the worldliness of trying to seek their own path. God at every turn has said that he wants to be their God and provider, that they can be secure in him, and yet Israel at each turn doesn't put their trust in that. They seek to make their own path their own ways. And so we see it, for example, from even the beginnings of the monarchy, that the people look at all the nations around them who have kings and say, well, we need a king. And God says, you don't need a king. I am your king. You have the judges, you have the people here for the structures. They say, no, to be as mighty as the nations around us, we need a king. And of course, the monarchy, as God warns, brings great suffering to them, and they go through their ups and downs of their own kings, foreign powers that take them over. And at every turn, we can look at them as Israel becomes worldly, no different than our world today. The great suffering of there's different ways of political process and power being asserted, and economy and security of warfare, one nation on nation. These are the things that humans have done against each other for all of history. And God says, look for me in the midst of this. There's a different way, which is I want to provide for all of those things for my people. I am your king. I am the source of all goodness. I am your protection and your provider. But we don't trust in that. And so the great suffering we undergo is when we look for the goodness God can provide in very fallible and transitory places that can never satisfy and can never follow through on the promise or expectation we have for it. Only God can do that. And when we seek what God can provide in places that aren't him, these are, whether or not they're literally an idol to a false god, they are the idols or the fake places, the false places of provision that seek to replace what God has offered to do for us. And so, my brothers and sisters, may we not sacrifice at altars to false gods, to false idols, even idols of ourselves, our own self-exaltation, but may we humbly abandon ourselves to divine providence, that God, who has created us, God, who has so loved us and desires to hold us and to care for every need, will take care of us, provide for us, protect us, nurture us, love us, if we will just let him. May God bless you.